Hey guys, we're back. Sorry about that. Almost almost missed it, but we're ready to go. Sorry about that little bit of extra delay. Just mixing a drink.
Just making a cocktail.
Also eating a bun really quick because I'm starving.
Eating a what? Sorry, you eating a butt?
Yeah, a butt, Maynard.
Damn, man. Eating a butt, man. I can't see it because your webcam doesn't come through the Skype chat, unfortunately. So just have to wait for stream delay to watch it myself. I'll enjoy it before your channel gets banned.
You won't even see it. Get wrecked.
Wrecked. Oh no.
All right, folks. We are, of course, in the semifinals for this week's Olimoleague. There are going to be 2 semifinals cast in the grand finals. You got 2 best-of-3s and a best-of-5 to buckle in for. Spawning, however, in the top left to kick off our series, we do have the pink Protoss, Zest.
And in the bottom right, this kid has been on a real tear, and this matchup is one of the reasons. This is Sidestorm Gaming's GuMiho.
And really quick, for those who have not been, maybe you've just recently joined the stream or whatever, Maynard is sleep deprived and I am allergy ridden, so there are going to be hiccups in the cast.
This is a tier 1 community cast right now. Like, I haven't slept in 2 days. I have a stream in like 9 hours. This tournament's still not done.
I gotta say though, it's been going not bad, all things considered.
Yeah, no, it's been very little downtime, very little delay. We had that one delay when we were just waiting for a TVT to end, but we got there.
Yeah. Well, that's been more of a toll on my sanity, but also that's a good point.
Well, I mean, yeah, and you haven't, like, been super racist against any particular group of people or, said anything horrible about anyone huge in the community at all. So you're doing pretty well for a sleep-deprived person.
I'm not sleep-deprived. You're sleep-deprived.
Sorry, not sleep-deprived. Allergy delirium. Allergy delirium and sleep deprivation. I think it's pretty clear which was the sleep-deprived. Yeah, I mean, delirium's delirium, right? It kicks in. It doesn't really depend on how you get there. You just get there. We're both delirious. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I made the mistake of taking too big of a bite of that bun, so I can't.
Too much butt is bad for you.
Excuse me. But you mentioned GuMiho has been on a tear, and a big part of it's because of this matchup, and that couldn't be more of an accurate statement. Before we had like the recent tweaks and balance changes and all this, TVP was a really tough matchup, and GuMiho was one of the few that was actually winning while this was going on. Like, you had the best players in the world get, like, quote-unquote adepted by stats and GSL, and you're just, like, crying imba the whole way. Meanwhile, GuMiho on the side of this was killing Neeb and defeating other really good, talented Protoss players on that same balance patch. So, I know that some of you are going to be like, well, Neeb's nothing special compared to stats, and I would tell you fuck off, because I actually think stats and Neeb are right up there, like, top echelon players. So, GuMiho versus Zest, I definitely favor GuMiho coming into this. But
I absolutely do. I mean, I've seen GuMiho play several series of the best of 5 nature against Root Hero, who is regarded at the moment to be the best Protoss in Korea. But it's, and he 3-0'd him in the BTSL, I gotta say, grand final. And those games weren't close. GuMiho bopped him. He smashed him. And he was also, like, to go back to what you were saying when Terrans were getting adepted, GuMiho was kind of the first Terran to consistently beat Adept Phoenix when it was so powerful, and it seemed like there wasn't an answer for it.
Well, all these things combined are multiple reasons why he's a good player, but this build is really strange.
Yeah, this is really weird. I mean, Hellions aren't amazing in TVP, and they get completely deflected for 0 damage.
It's not even that for me. It's the fact that he follows up with double Widow Mines into double Widow Mines. I mean, don't get me wrong. Widow Mines are phenomenal assets to have against any type of Protoss player. But usually, this is not where all the gas goes early on. This is not where production goes early on. In fact, that Reactor is usually pumping out Marines right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's making Widow Mines, which are fantastic against, Adepts and Phoenix. But they're only really fantastic against Adepts and Phoenix with a bowl of Marines around them. Like, they're not great on their own. They're not exactly being loaded into medevacs and being sent across the map right now.
Well, that's why this stands out to me, right? Because it's the sometimes 2 Widow Mines with 4 Marines, or 1 Widow Mine and 6. Like, the point is, normally there's a drop coming out, not a Liberator with like 4 to 6 Widow Mines. So GuMiho is playing it very differently to start off here. And in fact, the Phoenix is going to get this does not get much.
Yeah, this Liberator, I mean, I don't even see it. It may get a probe. No, not even that. Completely deflected. And GuMiho hasn't done any damage to Zest at all. Meanwhile, Zest has killed 2 Hellions, a couple of Reapers. He's killed a Liberator already, pretty much for free.
This is a good guy GuMiho setting up his own personal handicap. Just gives away units so that it's a bit more of a fair matchup.
He's just doing the Dragon Ball Z thing where he lets Goku wail on him for the first, episode or 2, and then he's like, all right, now it's my turn. I like to think that's what's happening right now. But as it stands, GuMiho is on the back foot a little bit here. He is starting to power that army now that he has triple barracks production on 2 base.
Yeah, and
that is a lot of production for 2 bases. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because he still continues to produce double Widow Mines, which I have no problem with. I think Widow Mines are more than ever essential to the matchup, with Charge being brought back into play. For those who don't know, again, the cost of this was cut in half. 200, 200 to 100, 100. And Charge lots are really good. Excuse me. God damn it.
Guys, Rifkin's allergic to Protoss. Sorry. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I saw the 1-1 and I just had an allergic reaction, or the Charge and I had an allergic reaction, but
yeah.
Excuse me. Charge lot Phoenix may end up taking the place of Adept Phoenix, just because they're so good. The body slam of 8 damage, the actual Zealot swipes themselves. But that being said, Charge lot Archon was such a big popular thing to do in HOTS, and it got shut down by Widow Mines. In fact, Widow Mines almost single-handedly removed Zealots from the matchup, period. So now Widow Mines have been toned down a bit. They're still really good anti-Zealot units.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the reason why GuMiho wanted to prioritize mine production for a little while, though he did get them very, very early here. Force field's going down here for Zest, but GuMiho...
Oh, this is actually really important. The whole army is revealed, but not the Widow Mines. Now he's got detection on it.
Yeah, so these mines are, Zest is aware of these mines here. He's got a charge lot coming in from the natural. GuMiho with a big spread of Widow Mines. They do get picked up by the Phoenixes. A couple of them are still borrowed, and the charge lots do eat a couple hits there. Still a fair bit of Protoss left, though.
Yeah, the +1 armor is a really nice touch. That combined with Guardian Shield means the Marines aren't hitting for much. Guardian Shield does affect air units. A lot of people seem to think it doesn't for some reason.
No, it does. It's a big dome that stretches out into the skies. And Phoenix is chasing pretty deep here. They're picking up the Widow Mines before they burrow.
Oh boy. Yeah, trying to cut down the Zealots is difficult when they keep body slamming into you with that charge upgrade.
Yeah, and it's zoning out the Phoenixes, keeping them alive against this Terran army. And normally Adepts are very slow and very clunky, so you're quite right, Rifkin. These charge lots are actually forcing the Marines back with those body slams.
Well, Adepts are not expensive gas units. The fact is, Zealots cost 0 gas. This leaves you all the opportunity to afford gas-expensive units like High Templar, getting those Archons, and that's why it was such a nice complement to each other back in the day.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. We saw the Templar Archives go down a little while ago here, so there's already Archons on the field for Zest. He's made them at his 3rd Nexus here in the south. This is a very anti-bio force that he has here. These Phoenixes aren't being replenished right now. He doesn't need to. They're just his anti-medevac force, and also the lifting, taking Widow Mines out of the occasion with those lifts as well.
That has been the single most important job of the Phoenix. Even if they weren't killing anything, just to lift them out of the ground or remove them from play, it's like opening the gates to the Zealots, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I'm convinced.
GuMiho is just... Oh, no, go.
No, I was going to say something stupid. You go on. After you, good sir.
Alright, I was just saying that GuMiho is struggling to find any kind of opening to do any damage to Zest. Like, when you look at the minimap, Zest is taking the whole left side of it, and GuMiho is kind of in the bottom right corner, boxed in here.
Yeah, I mean, taking a 4th this early, not exactly super crazy considering this is Ascension to Ire. It'd be a little bit more like wincing at it if it was Blood Boil or something, but Zealot run by into the 3rd. That's going to drive off some SCVs.
Deny some mining time. There's a couple.
You're not wrong, though. The course of this game has been Zest not taking damage from GuMiho, and more importantly, not taking like anything close to big damage from GuMiho when GuMiho does do damage. Like, sometimes it's acceptable. Terran players, they sit back, they hold back, they don't get a lot done, and then in one big fell swoop win the game. And that's what GuMiho kind of feels like he's aiming towards here. He's got the army supply. His army type of supply is not bad either, but it's still going to be hard to chew through these Zealots.
Yeah, these Liberators are actually very scary for Zest, but the Phoenixes are slowly taking them out. They do go down. The Archons are taken out now, and a lot of the bio is still left here, with some of the Widowmines alive as well. It's actually going to force Zest to retreat a little bit, leaving this 4th Nexus very open for GuMiho to take it out.
Zest isn't looking for defensive warp-ins, and this might be a problem for him, so that's why he's going to lose that base. A lot of charge slots warped into the main base of GuMiho. Base for Zest falls for this. Ooh. I'm not sure that's worth it.
Yeah, I don't think so, especially considering he hasn't killed any add-ons, he hasn't tapped into the production. All that said, though, 11 SCVs, 12 SCV kills going down is not too shabby.
I don't know how much that's going to really hurt GuMiho, though. I mean, 3 command centers on the limited mineral patches he currently has.
Yeah, I mean, it's damage, but you're right. I mean, with mules, the Terran can still power ahead, or power forward at least, not always ahead. So, the Zest has got his tier 3 in production. He's got double facility making Colossi.
Right.
Already has a couple here with this army.
GuMiho has seen this on more than one occasion now, so he should have thrown down a second starport. We should have started seeing mass Viking production. The fact that we didn't
still making medevacs.
Well, yeah, there's that, plus the fact that he's still producing Marauders. So he's going to take, like, the Maru approach to this, right? Maybe get a couple of Vikings in the background, but rely on the Marauders more than anything else.
Yeah, which can be very, very effective, but it's also very, very dangerous, because they are going to obviously eat lasers before they get those Colossus pickoffs, and also are going to be pick-offable by the Protoss Gateway army. I love this this sexy skin on the Colossus, by the way.
Yeah, it's like the Purifier one or whatever. My concern, though,
Phoenix one.
This goes to Zest here, right? He's a very good player, and most of the time, very, very talented. But one thing I would say is a weakness is his Colossus, I don't know how to phrase this, like, transfer micro? Like, they're often found in weird AI spots or exposed in the open. Like, I'm concerned that he'll have those picked off from behind.
He's also, he also has a lot of money.
Like we have here, flank on the right side, Marauders just dive in, focus on the first Colossus, but the charge lots put a quick stop to that. Only to be taken out, and now the Colossus die.
These Colossus are going to go down, and with that, I think that Zest's actually going to lose this fight very, very convincingly here, and possibly the game, because this isn't all of GuMiho's army. The army is actually in the middle of the map as well. There's a lot more where that came from. The army supply is double for GuMiho that of Zest. And I was just about to say that sometimes this weird thing happens for Zest where he just has a lot of money, and he's not maxed.
Well,
like he's just...
I would like to point out these 2 Colossus that were standing next to each other were split so badly. And it goes down to that micro, too, where little things like that and exposed on the right side to a flank. GuMiho had the time to get the second starport. Now he's pumping out 4 Vikings at a time. Zest, even he can have all the money in the world. I don't think he's going to have the composition to take on GuMiho anymore. There's no storms.
I absolutely agree with you. He has no answer. He has no answer to this force of GuMiho anymore. Maybe even just switching into storms.
So that may explain some of the derping going on here. He's trapped into his natural by Twilight Council. That sucks. I don't know how many units were trapped by. It looked like only 1 Archon, but still trapped nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a little bit awkward from the mid-game onwards here for Zest. But I definitely think a tech switch, and he is actually starting to make Immortals instead of Colossus here, which I think is good.
I like that a lot more given his present situation. I just don't know. It might be too little too late. Immortals are amazing versus Marauders, but when you've got, how many is this? 26 Marauders in play? The Immortals might not matter when there's only 2 to 4 of them.
No, I don't think so. I think that Zest is... I don't see him winning a fight against GuMiho for the rest of this game. No, I don't see a way for him to do it.
He needed storms. It's not even a question of want, but needed storms. He went for Colossus for the splash damage, which I don't disagree with, but storms, I think, at this point would be the only thing that could possibly save him.
Colossus can be great, but at this point in the game, he's really let GuMiho take the reins here. Like, with this many Marauders, it's already been touched on, but with this many Marauders, the Colossus, and the Vikings even, like, just for salt in the wounds,
look,
the Colossus aren't really a problem right now.
We got a rule in chat about no politics, so I'm going to piss everyone off, because if you reply to this, you're probably going to get timed out by the mods. But the Colossus are kind of like America in that way. They can be great, but right now they're really not.
Oh, Rifkin. How topical. This Doom drop in the main, very, very scary. The Phoenix is coming in here. Zest is on the ball. He's trying to get up here to deal with it, but they're trickling in one at a time.
The Vikings get the free shots off of the Colossus. This is like whatever for the fight, because even if GuMiho dies here, look at this. This is the new mining base. Zest's income is about to take the biggest hit it could possibly take. So many probes were oversaturating this base too. Oh my god, that number is just racking up. He goes from like 0 to 28 probes killed in an instant.
Yep, and still no storms to speak of. Those High Templar are desperately trying to turn into an Archon and go down. Like, this is, again, one of those situations where, yeah, it looks bad, but GuMiho getting cleaned up in the main does not matter. He's going to get another Nexus pick off there.
Well, he wasn't cleaned up in the main either. That's the thing. He just picked up and faked going away, so he unloads once again.
Yeah, I mean, he has armies on both sides of the map. The multitask from GuMiho, fantastic. That's a third dead Nexus, and that's going to be GG very, very shortly here. Zest has so dismal an economy. He's got a third of the income of GuMiho right now, and he's not even producing anything. He can't. He's almost out of cash.
It was such a weird build order from GuMiho to open this game, but I love that he closes it in about as standard as a way as you can, especially for Korean, right? Using all these extra Marauders and not relying on Vikings. Like, I can't count the amount of times we've had to see 20+ Vikings be the answer to this. Really, how many Vikings even died this game? 6. Right, like this has been bio and more bio, and well, Zest might be trying to base trade out here best he can, as it is literally his only option. It's not going to cut it. GuMiho's going to close in from all sides. The rest of this army is going to die. In game 1, he's without a doubt going to go to our Terran.
Yeah, absolutely. GuMiho is coming in here from both angles here. Just a game of numbers at this point. GuMiho with way too much for Zest to handle, and this all-in from Zest will not be effective. GuMiho is going to get this game for sure.
Credit to where it's due, though. Zest takes a really good fight at the very end, but it's just not going to matter.
Yeah, it's too many. Too many units. GG. Beautiful game. From, like, a really, really weird start, like you said, but that was from the mid-game onwards, it was just all GuMiho.
Yeah, I loved watching GuMiho play that, too, because one of the big things I noticed throughout the course of that game was there was no point in which he was, like, super committed, where he found himself trapped, like, in a corner with medevacs, hoping to outrange the stalkers, like... He was very precise in his movements and his drops, and it was a very good game as a result.
Absolutely. I wish I was even a quarter this good.
Right? An eighth of this good.
Yeah. I'm being greedy asking for a quarter here, to be honest.
So, people in chat are asking, does anyone know what happened to Zest yesterday? So, for those that missed it, we were casting somebody else's tournament called the Tournament of Legends, and Zest was a no-show. We don't know what happened because I didn't ask, to be honest. It's not my tournament, so it doesn't really concern me why he wasn't there. But Zest did take the time to log in to the BattleNet, message every single person, caster and player alike, involved with the tournament, apologizing. He then furthermore reached out to everybody on Skype. He was very clearly, genuinely sorry about missing yesterday. So,
yeah,
my assumption is probably just sleeping through it by mistake. It was at such a bad time for Korea.
If someone's apologizing like that, it's generally like they're not doing it because it's not their fault. Like it's and mistakes happen, no big deal.
Yeah. Well, map 2 is Proxima Station, and the Olimoleague is of course loser's pick. So this was Zest's choice. Not a bad one either. Again, we don't have all 7 maps available in the map pool, so they do have a somewhat limited selection.
Yeah, and it's we touched on at the beginning of the cast. It's a bit of an interesting selection of 5 maps from the 7. Blood Boil and this map snuck in there. We have in the bottom left here, losing game number 1. He had a pretty strong start, but from the mid game onwards, it was all GuMiho. This is Zest, one of the most beautiful pro gamers, if not the most beautiful pro gamer in the history of esports.
And it's on the top right, going to be the red Terran player, none other than GuMiho.
The Tau Terran.
We really just haven't had many subs come in today, so I haven't been looking for it. So my apologies, but apparently I missed Master Tom. So thank you very much for that resub. 5 months. Says, woohoo! 5 months already. I love you guys. So thank you very much.
What a god.
And of course, I hope you guys have been enjoying the guest casting of Maynard, coming here to save me from my own sanity/allergies. But yeah, there's something strange afoot that we need to discuss, and that is this weird as hell barracks. Yeah,
this is something strange in the neighborhood.
So, well, this to 1 Reaper usually, right, guarantees about 4 probe kills, but that's on normal maps. Even if it's scouted, the thing is, like, this isn't all in at a GuMiho, unless he was playing. Oh no, this is actually devastating. GuMiho was playing to follow us up with a factory and a starport. I just realized.
I was just about to say, because he's getting double gas and not just 1 gas, usually that means that you want to put a factory next to this. So he's got a little bit fresh with his proxy here. If it was a little bit... Oh my god, kills the SCV as well. This is terrible for GuMiho. GG.
Yep. Super anticlimactic, but absolutely justified. This will take us to another game 3. So to save time, we're just going to cut straight to ads. There's not a lot to talk about that game. You saw how that played out. We'll see you guys here in 2 minutes. Yep. All right, folks, we're getting into game number 3. This was the quickest game 3 we've gotten to so far today, though. No doubt about it.
It took a little while there, but just as we came back and started, you brought up game 2. Game 2 just sunk in for me. How funny it was.
Yeah, we were actually discussing during the break, like, that wasn't even the fastest game of StarCraft I've ever seen played. Scarlet still has that record, Scarlet versus Stats. But that was, embarrassing for GuMiho, that's for sure. And hopefully feeling recovered. He's picked red to match the blushing on his cheeks. I'm sure it's the top left player from Sidestorm Gaming, GuMiho.
Or it could be trying to match the color of the blood that he hopes to shed from this guy in the bottom right. This is Zest.
All right, so GuMiho, you see a game like that, and you got to be wondering like what was going through his head, right? But the thing is, and this is with legitimacy, a proxy everything build is actually sometimes the strongest thing you can do versus Protoss. Some of my favorite games to reference for this are pretty much anytime you see Joxi play, you'll see him do the proxy factory in Starport as well, and it can be just straight up devastating. It's a gamble, and I don't know that GuMiho takes that gamble if he's down 0-1 in the series, but the fact that he was up 1-0 going into that was perfectly justified, I think, to take that risk.
Yeah, and we have seen, like, even Sue did it as well in Game 2. He was up 1 map in the series, and he was on Blood Boil. He was like, okay, I'm just going to drop a Proxy Hatch and Roach Ravager Rush. And, you know, he had a game in his pocket. He had the ability to throw a game away. So, we know from game number 1 on Ascension to Aya, and from the last few series as we've seen of GuMiho on TVP, that he can absolutely play this matchup at the highest level possible. So there's no concern there.
A follow-up question I would have, and I guess I would have to ask the players too, is like, for GuMiho, like, do you just hate that map? Like, there are some maps out there you take a shitty build for it because you just really don't want to play it out. So either you win early and hard or you lose early and fast, but either way you get off that map ASAP. Yeah.
Oh no, you could be right. And also to touch on the 1-1-1 proxy thing, I'm actually remembering like a bunch of foreign Terrans used to do that as well. Specifically, I remember Kelazor used to do it back on Apotheosis. Euthermal used to do it in TVP. Like the Terran, it was back in the day when Terran were just done with TVP. They didn't want to play the regular TVP.
Back in the day when foreign Terrans existed. Oh, feels bad, man.
Oh, Rifkin. Don't go there.
It's that's always been a weird dynamic to me though, right? Because you've got Beyond and others like Innovation who have set the standard so high that Terran actually looks broken in certain people's hands.
Yeah, but then the four horsemen.
Well, the thing is though, right? And this is where we get like balance a little bit, and I don't mean to necessarily, but it's like if Terran is that good, then why aren't there more foreign players playing Terran at high level of play?
Well, I mean that's a question that I wish I could answer for you.
Well, no, because the thing is, like, it really is just like it's a question of player skill, I think, more than race skill. And like, as much as we all want to just delve into balance one and be like, oh well, so-and-so's only a good player because depths are good and blah blah blah. Like the thing is, it's really it's the player that makes them good, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could be right. I mean, the one Terran and another Terran have the exact same tools of the trade, right? So it just depends on how well you use them.
Yeah. Well, regardless of all of that, this Reaper's actually doing a pretty good job fighting with Adept, something you normally can't do.
Yeah.
But,
actually, somehow still living against an Adept there, but once that Shade finishes and you can get out of the way of the Adept, there's no problem there.
Well,
and this was obviously a Stargate opener from Zest. He's getting himself a Phoenix immediately.
I gotta cut you off, man. There's 2 Hellions racking up kills in the natural, and I really didn't see that coming, and neither did Zest, apparently. I mean, Hellions are really unconventional to see in this matchup, but for those who don't know, it does, when the Adept nerf got hit to do less damage to workers, it also meant that it took a whole extra kill to kill a Hellion. It's fighting off that sneeze that whole sentence.
Bless you.
So Hellions are actually pretty good early on because they'll still take a lot of hits, but the follow-up of these Widow Mines, like GuMiho comes in like Noah's Ark 2x2 and just trying to like kill as much as he can.
This is actually the exact same opening that GuMiho did on Ascension to Aya, which Zest completely bitch slapped.
That was such a sick juke out of Zest. That was not an accident. He did that on purpose. GuMiho at the same time was really smart to use his Widow Mine to try and save the other one, but Liberty comes in now.
Yeah, no Mothership Core, but there is a Phoenix here to start tapping away at it. Also, this Hellion delayed the third Nexus, by the way. A probe came over to try and take a third Nexus.
Oh, yeah, it's got 2 kills on it.
Yeah, he sure does. And the Widow Mines have burrowed in lovely positions here.
More Widow Mines
coming into the mineral line, and the probes are all pulled up the line, not mining here.
Yeah, I mean, he might be losing track of how many there are, but he knows that there's Widow Mines there, so he's not going back to mining.
Gets a revelation on both those Widow Mines. He does take them out, and the probes can get back to it, but a lot of missed mining time there, giving GuMiho a bit of an econ advantage for a while. Back at home, he's powering up to the next stage. All of his production's going down here. This is looking a lot like game number 1 in terms of his choice of production, but well, I mean, we know how well game number 1 went for GuMiho, and that was when the opening went bad. And the opening here for GuMiho went fantastically against Zest.
Oh man, I'm like trying to lean as far away from the mic as I can and cover my mouth with both hands, but I'm sorry guys, it's getting bad here listening to the cast.
All good, mate. Liberator denying more mining time in the main as well. Does die, but stops the probes from mining in the main for a good while there.
Actually, I'm going to take a quick peek at the income graph. Was it Shift I? And you can see, GuMiho, every time those probes get pulled, it's a big spike in his favor.
Yeah, that's damage. Even though the probes aren't dying, that is damage.
It is. In fact, actually, you take the average for what's about a minute and a half. It's probably 1,000 minerals lost from mining. That's huge. Oh, but this could also be big.
Oh. Yeah, if Zest got those 2 medevacs, that would have been huge there. But GuMiho unloading just in time, getting the Marines out.
Yeah, that was. If GuMiho was playing complacent for even a second, that could have cost him a medevac.
Absolutely. Zest is like, even though he got manhandled in game number 1, you cannot forget that Zest is an absolute beast at this game. Hasn't had the results to speak of lately, but he is still quite good.
Zest is one of these players that's kind of like Maru for me, where I think offline play is very different than online play. And you'll see Zest struggle in these online cups. Hell, he loses to Mana coming across server for the Corsair Cup, right? Like, I love Mana, but I would never classify Mana right up there with Zest, personally. That being said, though, take him offline. I am, what was that one? Youngie last year. And he played some of the sickest games I've seen Zest play in the last year. Yeah,
it was a pretty amazing performance from him, from memory. I think I cast a couple of them. But we see there's a push out here for GuMiho, but it's not like a convincing push here. There's a lot of Protoss army supply. Charge is done as well. So Zest is batting it back for now. +1 armor about to finish, which is going to help out the Zealots a ton against the Marines. Templar Archives finished now for Zest. And does he go straight in a Storm, or does he just go straight into Archons?
I mean, Archons would make the most sense when you're just pairing it up with Zealots and Charge, but I think getting Storm is going to be absolutely necessary. We saw that Colossus weren't going to cut it, and probably won't again. Yeah,
it was lacking very much so from game number 1. Storm was... could have given Zest a chance there against that army, but I mean, you know, it's hindsight's 2020. We've got the Archons coming in here. +1 attack on the way here for single forge of Zest. And GuMiho's just starting to knock down these rocks, giving himself another attack path here, because this is a very common Nexus location. In fact, the probe's going to come forward, drop a pylon, and see the Terran army hightail out of there.
Yeah, but the Terran army also scans Zest, so he knows exactly what he was getting into. He decides to commit to it.
Ooh.
It's a lot of Marines on the ground and not that much left to stop them.
That's a bad fight for Zest right there. The Sentry's almost getting picked off as well. The Sentries do get picked off.
This is huge. The Phoenix can no longer really fight. The Liberator's in anti-air mode, just splashing down what little they can.
Oh my god, that's it.
GG.
Zest taking an atrocious fight, and GuMiho just taking the game away from him, and with that, the series.
Yeah, that's gonna be phenomenal for GuMiho. Goes through to the finals, where he's gonna fight a guaranteed Zerg player. Now we're gonna find out which of the Zergs it's gonna be with Sue and Lenok. And I don't know about you, Maynard. I have been swayed over the last like half a year. ZVZ is actually a really great matchup to watch right now. I
love it, but I'm just asking the question: what the hell is a Zerg doing in a Korean grand final?
I know, right? Like, I want to like Sue, I could justify getting second place, but I don't know about Lena and like whatever. But what's crazy about this for me is we don't actually see that many ZVZs in Korea. And in fact, I actually believe truly that the ZVZ in Korea is going to be worse to watch than ZVZ in Europe, because Europe, it's all Zerg all day, all the time. So kind of like how back in the day, you had this very specialized few players in Australia who could play ZVZ better than Koreans. I feel like it's the same for Europeans nowadays because everything is Zerg, Zerg, and more Zerg. That being said, I think that either of these, whether it's Linok who advances on or whether it's Su who advances on, they're both going to be very formidable opponents for GuMiho. Either way, lobby's going up, so let's get the ad break out of the way. We'll see you guys here in 2 minutes so we don't miss anything. We'll see you soon. Sorry to cut you off.